In Shopify's beginning, it was very hard for us to get any kind of investment. It was mostly run on fumes on personal savings by my family and friends. Even in situations where we had weeks of money left in the bank, I insisted on the people who worked here to make plans and think about products that we needed a year later. It's really, really hard to have this discipline, but that's what made the difference. So this company, honestly, it almost happened by accident. When I came to Canada, I picked up the hobby of snowboarding, and eventually me and a few friends decided, hey, wouldn't it be cool to start an online business selling snowboards? And that idea just stuck with us. So we decided to do it, and we ended up calling it Snow Devil. I imagined setting up the online store was going to be the smallest problem in the business. And it just became this exercise in pure frustration. The entire industry was set up to service existing businesses that have gotten to a certain kind of scale. Even though, we are talking 2004, it was clear that no one has really thought about people starting new businesses online. Eventually I said, enough is enough, and sat down and started programming. And out came a software which ran the store the way I wanted. I had a lot of late nights, and it was really coming together. And I sort of took a step back and said, you know what, I got it. I think that's it. I think I've written the last line of code. I remember shaking before hitting enter. It was just it really felt there was just so much energy which was gonna go into this one command, which might just change my life. rsync space dash ART space dot space snowdevil : And then came summer, and I remember it really well. We sat down for a cup of coffee and at a local coffee shop, and we were saying, what is it going to be? Is it going to be surfboards that we're going to sell this summer? Is it going to be skateboards? Or should we turn this into a software company? We called it Shopify and launched it in 2006.
A Canadian e-commerce startup is making shoppers, retailers, and tech investors sit up and take notice. Shopify made a name for itself, helping merchants launch and manage
company in Ottawa. All of this means what in terms of?
We've done really well. We've built a really, really good company to this point, but I don't think we are through yet. There's a ton more for us, and a ton more that we need to and want to accomplish. And I want Shopify to be one of history's great companies.
It's been amazing how many more people are able to see what I do because of Shopify.
We've tried multiple solutions, nothing was working, and to be very honest with you, Shopify just saved our ass.
Canadian e-commerce software company Shopify is going public. The startup plans to list on both Toronto and New York. Shopify's technology is used by thousands.
What Shopify has on a more macro level fundamentally accomplished is that we took a very complex thing and wrapped it into a single, well-crafted, easy-to-understand product. When you sign up for Shopify, you're just getting a lot. You're getting the 10 years of hard work by this entire company, working to make you look great as a merchant. The sophistication of businesses that were created right now that use Shopify vastly outstrip the capabilities of very established business that might have been around for 100 years at some points. This is something that Walmart and others have built for themselves for millions, probably hundreds of millions of R&D dollars. They've gotten to the point where they have data warehouses that can give them single views into everything that's going on in these large operations, which we are giving to people who are starting out. This sort of consumeration of enterprise quality software is powerful, and it's moving, and it's getting faster, and it's everywhere, and Shopify is doing this for commerce.
So in 1876, a guy named John Wanamaker created Wanamaker's department stores. It actually was the first store in America that had electricity and had a telephone in there. This was the first department store, meaning it was the first time a bunch of different brands were all being sold under one roof. My opinion is that retail has been pretty boring ever since John Wanamaker created Wanamaker's department store. And that for the first time in about 130 years or so, things are getting pretty exciting again. I think the next 5 or 10 years are going to be the most exciting times of retail and of commerce of the last 130 years. And I think what's driving it is technology. Technology is making it easier for anyone to build an online store. Technology is making it easier to connect all these different pieces.
Our mission is to take the concept of commerce and redistribute it amongst all of people, not just give it to the department stores or the businesses. We think that commerce is something massively participatory, something that everyone has a voice in and something that everyone should engage in.
We both kind of dabbled in a bunch of other different types of careers. Myself particularly, I was in technology for a number of years, and I just kind of found that to become increasingly less fulfilling and wanted to put my time and effort into something that was really meaningful to me. When it came time to make a big move, we kind of just decided to do what was in front of us to do, which was kind of follow our dreams. And Three Fish Studios was born from that. When we started the business, threefishstudios.com, we got the website, and that was one of my first orders of business, was to put some type of e-commerce engine onto it. Shopify came onto my radar, and it extremely clean, easy to use interface that kind of fell out of the box. And so we moved over to Shopify about 4 or 5 years ago. And it has been great for us. So we've been very happy with it. It's really helped us grow our business.
I think if you go back in time and you look at sort of the building blocks of what you need to be a successful entrepreneur, one of the biggest was capital. You needed money. In fact, you needed money to the extent that it actually caused you to be quite risk adverse, because even if you raised money, you borrowed money, you really only had one shot of it. What's really nice about today is that I think what you need now, the most important thing you need now, is creativity, not capital. And the fact that we've shifted away from capital towards creativity is really great. You don't necessarily need a lot of money to start a Shopify store. If you have a product and you have an idea and you have some passion around that, you can build a store for $29 a month, and that store can grow to be a $100 million company. That was not possible 10 years ago.
We started Mind's Eye in 2006. And Mind's Eye wasn't always a shop, it was a blog before. And we met some great artists along the way. I wanted to do something that really helped that creative world. So we started up Mind's Eye Creative Shop. We wanted to sell something awesome and sell something creative, so we started to pick toys. So design of toys was just this awesome thing that we started to get into. Last year, we started to think about how to do a website, so we started to look around for an e-commerce platform that was flexible enough for me, that thought about mobile first, and then we ended up choosing Shopify. I think the best thing about Shopify is that it's made me not have to worry about anything that has to do with the e-commerce portion. When I received my first order online, I remember the exact moment that someone bought something, and I remember it was only like a $30 item, and that I was just so excited. It was validating all my thoughts, validating everything. That was like the best feeling in the world. The most important thing that you have to do is to have faith in yourself. If you try to make everything as perfect as you can, it's really going to show in your end product, and I think a lot of people will appreciate that in the end.
Shopify is really helping people who don't necessarily have the web development skills to connect directly to consumers. I mean, that's really an incredible shift in what the opportunities are. We started in my living room. There was no equipment, there was no factory, there was nothing like that. And now we have a 10,000 square foot factory. We have about 20 employees, which I would never have imagined would have been something that was possible 2 years ago. I'm grateful for Shopify for enabling, and I think there's a lot of examples of other makers out there who have figured out, hey, this is, we can make something and sell directly to consumers through services like Shopify.
A lot of people say that they're business catalysts, right? This is really business catalyst. We help people build businesses here. I was a merchant first before I joined this company. And I joined because I saw what the potential was. And it was guys like Toby. I was inspired by his vision to change all of this, to take retail, to take a sledgehammer to the traditional retail model and change it. And I wanted to help spread the word that you don't have to have a rich daddy anymore. You don't have to have, a famous last name. If you have a product and passion, you can build an incredible business because of Shopify.
I'm Liz, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to open a Shopify store. Just head on over to shopify.com, plug in a few details, and hit Create Your Store. Once you create a store, you'll see the Shopify dashboard. It's the home base for your business. You'll see things like traffic, sales, and all your latest activity. Now that you're in your shop, let's start by adding a product. I sell ceramic bulldogs, and you can too. Maybe not bulldogs, but something. The first thing we're gonna do is hit Add Product. Put in a title, add some product details, snap a photo, upload it, add the price, and hit Save Product. Now that you've added products, let's make your shop look really good. The best part is, you don't need to be a designer or a developer. We have a wide range of themes that you can pick from our theme store. All you need to do is add a theme and start customizing it. Add a logo, change the colors, make it fit your brand just right. Now that you've set up your store, it's time to start selling. It's the best part. Anytime you make a sale, you'll be notified no matter where you are. After you've made a sale, ship your product and mark the order as complete. People don't only want to shop online, they might want to buy from you offline. You can sell to them in person using Shopify POS in a retail store, at a farmer's market, or even a pop-up shop. Shopify allows you to take credit card, gift cards, or even Bitcoin. You can sell on channels like Facebook or anywhere you like. And the orders will appear right in your Shopify dashboard. Shopify gives you access to custom reports, so you can make the right choices for your business. And if you have any questions along the way, there's a Shopify guru available 24/7 to lend a hand.
Shopify's core offering does what most people need most of the time. And we're very disciplined about that. We don't want to bulk up Shopify with every feature under the sun because that's not what most people need most of the time. We've created an ecosystem whereby app developers are building apps for Shopify. Theme designers are making themes for us. And agencies and freelancers from all over the world are referring new merchants to Shopify. What we've done is we've created a set of APIs and gone out to third parties, some big companies like Intuit, for example, or MailChimp, for example, or Constant Contact, and we've encouraged them to build applications for the Shopify App Store, whereby our merchants can use those applications. In other cases, we have these really, really cool groups of engineers like Bold Apps in Winnipeg. All they do all day long, these 50 people, are build new functionality, new apps, new extensions for Shopify.
So Bold is an e-commerce company. We specialize primarily in apps, but we also do e-commerce solutions for small mom and pop e-commerce stores, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies like Time Life, Cirque du Soleil. But it's all centered around e-commerce in one way or another. Shopify is a commerce platform. So if someone just joined Shopify, it's really easy to get started. You don't need any of the apps, you can just sell. Or there's apps and there's Shopify partners doing development for it that you can go to and get the custom work done because of that API. We have 14 live now in the App Store, 4 in production as we speak, 1 in testing. Our goal actually for the next year is to release an app a month, and I think we're going to pass that.
So watching Bold Apps sort of grow from these 4 entrepreneurs to being a team of over 50 people, that gave me goosebumps. The fact that we not only had this great team building new functionality for us, but we helped them create their own multi-million-dollar business. That was awesome for me. And so in a similar way to how we have this app ecosystem, at this very moment, we have designers all over the world thinking about how to make Shopify storefronts look better and thinking about what merchants may require in terms of the front-end design. And again, that theme is really important, right? Because that's the first thing that a customer sees when they come to your online store. Most companies that have a theme store kind of create these very generic looking themes. A white theme, a black theme, something that kind of looks artsy or hipster, others that are a little more professional. We've taken a very, very different approach. We've actually created a theme program or a theme store whereby some of the best designers around the world can build themes for Shopify. And these designers are thinking about all the different verticals that merchants are selling on. So, for example, we have theme designers that have built themes for Shopify that are particularly suited for selling children's clothing. So if you want to build a store on Shopify to sell children's clothing, we have themes that were built with children's clothing in mind. If you want to sell tires for a racing car, we have themes that appeal to that particular demographic. And so to have a very unique theme that you can also customize beyond just the templated theme settings, it allows you as the merchant to tailor your online store the way you want it to look like, as opposed to the way we think it should look. And we've worked with some of the most incredible web designers, some of the most famous web designers in the world to build new themes for Shopify. And many of them are free. And what's interesting is that partner ecosystem continues to grow and grow. They're building new apps for us. They're making new themes for us. They're referring new customers to us. Small partners become much larger partners, and we become the most important tool in our partners' businesses. In a similar way that we're the most important piece of software that our merchants use, we're very much the most important tool that many of our partners use as well.
What makes Shopify special in terms of engineering and the core platform is our focus on quality of what we deliver and building for the long term. So not cutting corners, making sure that things are going to scale. We have the tools and systems in place to know, when things are going right and when they're going wrong. We make sure that we exercise the full limits of the platform regularly. We don't leave anything to chance.
I joined Shopify just over 4 years ago, and the catalyst for that is when Toby was doing the Series A financing, one of the investors said, "We want you to take some of this money and hire yourself a CFO." And so shortly after that, I met up with Toby, and we've been working together ever since. One of the most impressive things about Shopify has been our growth. If you look over the last 3 years, we've grown at more than 100% each of those years. And that growth has continued into Q1 2015, where again, our growth was roughly 100%. There's two major elements to our business. One is what we call subscription solutions, which is the SaaS-based predictable part, which has been growing nicely throughout this period of time. And the other, which is becoming a bigger part of the business, which is merchant solutions. And that's the success-based part of the business. And on that, what we're trying to do is really take things that a lot of times the merchant would have to get on their own. We brought it within the platform to better understand the subscription solution part of the business. The way that we look at that is through our key metric called the monthly recurring revenue. And in terms of that, it's very simple. It just takes the number of merchants on the platform at the end of any month, multiplies it by the plan that they're on. And that combination, you can see over time, has grown by approximately 89% on a compounded basis for 13 quarters in a row. For the merchant solution component of our revenue, the best way to look at that is through the gross merchandise volume. In 2012, that number was $700 million. In 2014, that number's grown to $3.8 billion. We've now processed over $8 billion worth of orders on Shopify platform, which is exciting in terms of both it shows the scalability of the platform as well as the success merchants are having using it. To fully appreciate the power of the Shopify business model, the best way to look at this is through cohort analysis. Every year builds on the prior cohorts, and overall, any merchant loss is largely offset by the remaining merchants upgrading plans, selling more on the platform, or purchasing some of the many other services that we're making available for their success. When Toby was starting out with a few guys in a coffee shop coding the platform, Cash management was critical to them, their longevity. That view on cash and making sure that you manage it effectively is something that's been ingrained in the culture of Shopify, which as a CFO certainly makes my life easier. And the result of that is, since inception, the company has burned less than $30 million of cash, and its operating cash performance over the 13th quarter has been a positive $6.6 million. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't spend money. It just means that we're very scientific in how we spend the money and what we spend it on. So we're always looking to get the best bang for the buck or the highest return on that amount. And if you look at an operating expenses as a percentage of revenue, that has declined from 84% back in 2012 to 62% in the most recent quarter. And that again will lead to a company that can stay in business and grow for the long term.
And what do you think happens to retail? I mean, we have a massive implosion of malls in the United States.
Right. Which is going to be a problem. Because, well, it's a problem for the people who own the malls.
It's a problem for society? You think that,
No.
Is this a continuing trend?
But the big thing, the malls exploded on the backs of a department store. And I'm operating under the sort of assumption that if, like, the department store started like in 1860 under John Wanamaker. And like we at Shopify operate under the assumption that the department store is a dead branch of the larger history of retail.
Commerce is going to change significantly.
It's going to be nothing like it is right now.
How is it going to change in your mind? What do you think the big changes we'll see in our lifetime?
In a lifetime, I bet you at some point, probably in this decade, you're going to walk into a store, you're going to buy a product, and they are going to give you the products, and then you're going to be annoyed at them because now you have to carry it home.
We've seen this happen so much in the past 10, 20 years where technology has radicalized industries. You saw it first with things like Blockbuster, disappeared overnight with the advent of Netflix. You see it now with taxis that are being supplanted by Uber. And so I think when the time is right, when everything lines up and consumers really buy into these concepts, the adoption by consumers will happen, and it'll happen fast. But to me, that's really just the beginning of all this, right? This is just sort of day one of the great change that's going to happen. And I think that those that can't adapt, can't evolve, can't innovate, will die.
Now more than ever, the expectations that consumers have are acting as a catalyst for this retail revolution that's happening. And so technology is going to drive it. Companies like Shopify are going to power it, but ultimately it's the retailers who have to understand that the future of retail isn't online versus offline. It's not one or the other. It's retail everywhere. And Shopify will power retail everywhere.
We think that in the future, many more people become the source of commerce. People will always create products. People will always enhance products through stories, and people will always try to find an audience. The exchange of goods is so fundamental to the human condition. Entrepreneurship in general and building businesses is just such a pure form of human self-expression.
We're not trying to build a company for the next 2 years. We want to build a company for the next 100 years. And that takes an incredible amount of discipline. You know, if I look back in the last 10 years of this business, I think we've done that. I think Shopify as a company, but us as individuals, we're constantly getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable. We're constantly challenging ourselves. We're constantly throwing out past assumptions based on new data points. We're trying to build products for the future of retail, for the future of commerce. And in some cases, it hasn't actually happened yet. But we believe that's where it's going.